Okay, y'all, we're going to redo this again. Hopefully, this time we'll have less problems. I hope so. All right, y'all, I'm going to share my screen again. All right, and we'll just start all over from the beginning. All right, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Okay. All right. Hopefully it'll work this time.
Tonight, the longest lightning bolt ever on record. Scientists have now confirmed a single lightning bolt stretching 515 miles across 3 states, Texas to Missouri. It was back in 2017, now confirmed. The mega flash covered the distance in a little more than just 7 seconds.
A single lightning bolt traveled 515 miles in one continuous flash. From eastern Texas to near Kansas City, it crossed multiple states in a single event, setting a new world record. The flash was captured by NOAA's GOES-16 satellite years after the 2017 storm. A reanalysis of the data revealed a mega flash that beat the previous record by nearly 40 miles. Most lightning bolts stay under 10 miles. Mega flashes, those longer than 100 kilometers, are extremely rare and usually come from massive, long-duration storm systems. This one spanned several states and triggered multiple ground strikes along its path. Satellite data confirmed both positive and negative charge branches extending across the full distance. Researchers believe even longer flashes may have already occurred, but until now, they went undetected. This strike landed far beyond the core of the storm, well outside the areas most people consider at risk. That distance is the real warning.
Compilation of lightning strikes over central Texas.
Video, Jimmy. Video, Jimmy.
New data coming from the World Meteorological Organization yesterday. They confirmed the world's longest lightning strike. This was confirmed yesterday, but it was from a storm that included Oklahoma from back on October 22nd, 2017. It was 515 miles long, this lightning strike, going from 4 different states, Missouri, all the way down to Texas. It did that, by the way, in 7.8 seconds. The world's longest lightning strike. They're calling it a mega flash, something very rare. The old record, by the way, 477 miles long from a storm complex down in the southern end of the United States. But how about that? A 515-mile lightning strike, the world's longest lightning flash. Work done.
Yeah, that last one creeped me out because that ball of lightning looked like it was walking. Okay, didn't it look like it was walking? Let me roll that again. If you missed that, that was freaky. Usually you see them rolling and bouncing on the ground. I never seen one that sprouted legs before, but this sucker did.
How about that? A 515-mile lightning strike, the world's longest lightning flash. Work done.
And the thing is, it was 2 of them. That's why after the first one hit the wall, a second flash. That's because it was 2 of them on the ground. And you saw that first one look like it sprouted some legs and started walking. I have never seen a ball of lightning do that, ever. I've seen them before, but usually they're just rolling around on the ground. I've seen those kind of lightning balls. I have never seen one that looked like it was walking upright. And y'all, all of this footage was out of Texas. Every single one you saw was out of Texas. And the other ones where you saw multiple lightning strikes, they were saying that was 100 lightning strikes per minute. 100 per minute. We had one that occurred like that in New Jersey. And it must have been that summer that we were on lockdown. A storm came in and it was just massive amounts of lightning strikes. It was just back to back lightning strikes. And I believe they said we had, I think we had like 1,200 lightning strikes during that one storm. It was outrageous. It was absolutely crazy. These storms are something else. Yeah, I mean, these storms are something else. And yeah, that one that looked like fire was coming out of the sky. No, that was actually lightning. It is scary what lightning really truly looks like sometimes. But that bolt was so big, it was on fire, but that was still a lightning bolt. And you saw how it hit the ocean. And and I used to wonder when I was a kid, if lightning also hit the ocean. Apparently it does. Looking at this footage, yeah, apparently even the ocean gets hit by lightning. I had never seen it before, but I had always wondered if, even the ocean took lightning strikes. I mean, it's part of the earth. Why wouldn't it? Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, that 515-mile lightning that spanned it across several states, that happened in 2017, y'all. That's when that happened in the state of Texas, and it went across several states. And that one was the first one that was ever captured by satellite. That's why they were able to measure it. Before, they said these things would occur, but they never could capture it on film. That was the first time they were able to do it. And this was just published today. And they said that made world record. There is nowhere in the world where that has occurred, where it was bigger. Well, didn't they say everything is big in Texas? I guess it's true. Everything is big in Texas. Thank you, Monica Gregory, for the super sticker. Hey, only the Most High can do this with the weather. I mean, look, he can use that weather to clear a place out. We saw what happened during Katrina, and look at Asheville, North Carolina. And I have a feeling with all these back to back floods, it's going to inspire a lot of these folks in New Jersey to pack up and go elsewhere. You watch. They're going to get tired of getting flooded out and their homes getting flooded and their cars getting flooded. They're going to get tired. And I'm watching now that we're seeing this more frequently. I'm watching to see what these insurance companies are going to do. Are they going to keep paying out on these claims every time a rainstorm hits in certain areas? Or are they going to tell these people, you know what, you either get out of these areas or we're not going to pay out on the claims? That's what I really got my eye on. I want to see what these insurance companies are going to do, because you done had two floods in New Jersey in the same area in less than 2 weeks. So what are the insurance companies going to do? What are they going to do? Mhm. Yeah, they're gonna refuse to pay on all these claims because you gotta think about it. People are gonna file a claim every time these floods occur. And after so many claims, I think they're gonna just tell people they're gonna get out of these states, or they're gonna warn people that they're not gonna pay out on all these claims. That's what I think that's another thing they may do. They may not pull out, but they're gonna tell these people they're not gonna pay out on all these claims because they'll go bankrupt. Mm. Oh, the natural disasters, y'all. Chris G, it is gonna be a normal occurrence. That's what I think is happening now. These things are not gonna be once in a blue moon. It's gonna be common. And like I said, whatever's flooding in the summer, when those winter storms move in, this stuff is gonna still flood in the winter. It's not gonna stop happening. Well, they said it's hard to get insurance in Florida now. It's hard, and they said they have quadrupled the amount that you have to pay. They said if you already got a policy and you kept up with it, you might be okay, but even those people are getting canceled nowadays, and it's hard if you're just moving down there for the first time. It's very difficult to get insurance down there now because of all those hurricanes passing through. And I was looking at some people down there that had their houses up for sale. They can't get rid of their homes. People don't want to buy those homes because of all those hurricanes they keep getting hit with down in Florida. So a lot of these people, they've had their homes on the market for years now and they can't still sell them. I guess it depends on what areas you're in down there in Florida. My uncle said the same thing, spicy introvert. He lives down there. And he said it's high as hell, that insurance down there. I bet it is. Well, there's a lot of them that got out of California because of all those earthquakes. Many of them have pulled out of California too. A lot of insurance companies, they left. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, life is changing on this earth, and everybody better start making adjustments because it's not gonna go back at all. Things are not gonna go back. So now it's a matter of us getting used to the changes that are coming in the weather. But one thing I can honestly say, y'all, we're finally out of the heat wave we were in. The sun is definitely more intense. Now, I don't burn like many of you don't burn because of our melanin. But when I go outside, it is intensified. When they said the UV rays are stronger, man, I believe it's true. I sure feel it. I have been out in the hot before, but this kind of hot that we're feeling this summer, it's something different about it. And I can feel it. It is definitely a lot more intense. So if you are lacking melanin, I can see how you could get your ass burned the hell up in a short period of time of being outside. And I'm noticing things I never seen before. Now, when I was growing up, when we would go to Georgia, I would see because if you live in Georgia, you know about them yellow flies y'all got down there. The only time I would see yellow flies, y'all, is when my family would travel down to Georgia. Then we would see them yellow flies, right? We got yellow flies in New Jersey. I went out to throw something away and all around my trash can. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm looking and I'm looking. I said, when did these things get up here? When did we start getting yellow flies? We got yellow flies The same ones I used to see in Georgia are now in New Jersey. I have never seen them flies here, ever. This week, I saw them in my state for the first time. I didn't even know those things left the South. We got yellow flies. I have never, ever in my lifetime of being in the Northeast ever seen yellow flies until this week. We got yellow flies in New Jersey. Them suckers bite. I don't know if you've ever been, I've been around them. Every time we would go down to Georgia in both Osceola and Fitzgerald, there were yellow flies. There were yellow flies. And I got bit a few times by them, and that sucker hurt when they bite you. Oh, they hurt. And yeah, well, we got them in New Jersey now. I was like, when did these things migrate up north? I had no idea they even migrated up here until this week. The green flies in North Carolina. Yeah, y'all, that is crazy. That is crazy. Mhm. Now, they said we were gonna be getting those Jarro spiders. I haven't seen the Jarros yet, and I know them suckers are big. I have not seen any Jarro spiders in New Jersey yet, but they said we're getting those too. Mhm. Yeah, peppermint oil also works, especially for mosquitoes, and with all the humidity we've been having here, yeah, the mosquitoes are definitely out there having a good time. Yeah, we got big spiders in New Jersey too. Sometimes it's scary. You don't see them that often, but when you do see them, I had one back when I lived in a town called Atco. I had a sliding glass door. One literally built a nest across my sliding glass door. Y'all, that sucker was as big as my hand. I don't know what kind of spider it was, but it was like a brownish and a bright yellow. I have never seen a spider like this before, but that sucker was huge. It was huge. The whole underbelly of it was yellow and the top of it was brown. And to this day, I have never, ever seen a spider like that again. And that thing, no, I know what brown recluses look like. This was way bigger than a brown recluse. I've seen those. I used to get some every now and then, some would get in my basement. So I know what a brown recluse looked like. This thing was probably double the size of a brown recluse. I have never ever seen nothing like that before. And I had to always get the broom and knock it down. And twice it rebuilt the nest back across my sliding glass door. And that was a problem because I had to get my dog in and out of the house, you know? And it just kept coming back. And I said, it must be finding a lot of things to eat. That's why usually if a spider is lingering around a certain area, that means they're finding a lot to eat in that area. It must have found a lot of things to eat around my backyard. So it didn't want to leave. But that was absolutely crazy. Mhm. A place like Hawaii, I can imagine everything is probably enormous. I would imagine, especially if it's a place that really don't get that cold and it's warm year round. Yeah, I would imagine those insects are probably the size of cars. Mhm. Well, you know what? I'm not scared of all spiders. You know, when you have a garden, you're going to have spiders. I can tell you that right now. Because you know, when you have all the bugs pollinating and doing all bees pollen, those spiders are trying to catch the bugs. So it's not even unusual for you to one day go outside and they'll build a nest across a web across your entire garden. That happened to me a few times over the past few years. They catch so many bugs, they don't want to leave. So they'll build a web across your whole garden. You'd be like, wait a minute, they did that overnight? Boy, they move fast in spinning them webs, man. They really do. Most of them, as long as they can find plenty to eat, they don't really bother humans that much. That's one thing I notice about a spider. A spider is more inclined to get out of your way than to really try to harm you. At least the ones I've been around. Usually, when they see me, they'll just run. It's very rare for them to try to attack you. I notice most spiders don't do that. Frogs, yeah, no. I've seen tree frogs, but the last time I saw a tree frog, I was a kid. I have not seen any as an adult, but as a child, I seen a few tree frogs. Mhm. Yeah, they do. One of them was outside of my window one year, and I remember I was doing a video and I looked up and it was this big spider and it caught a moth and it was spinning and spinning and spinning this moth in its web. I was like, wow, just watching it. I didn't mind that spider being there. That thing caught everything that came to my window. It caught flies. It caught a stink bug. I said, nothing is going to get in that window because it's going to catch everything. And it sure did. It caught everything. It caught everything that came near the window. Mhm. Boy, I can't even imagine what the insects look like in Texas. I can't even imagine, y'all. We at least get the winters here, the cold winters that kill a lot of. That's why the bug population really don't go out of control here in New Jersey because the winter time will kill some of them off. And the ones that survive, those are the ones you'll see in the spring. And because of that, we I have never seen anything spiral out of control. Spider webs in your okay, spider. Yeah, I mean those things will happen. I had hornet nests on my porch that I had to get rid of. We had to go out there and get rid of the thing. We'll have those black hornets, and they'll start trying to build one of those mud looking webs. Not webs, but those mud nests on my porch. I had to knock a couple of them down. Mhm. You know, one year I had a praying mantis on my screen, and that thing was huge. You know, it's just a reminder of how big them things can get. That thing had to be as long as my forearm. That thing was ginormous. I was like, wow. I mean, I didn't bother it, but that thing was huge. I've seen big grasshoppers like that too. I have seen some big, long grasshoppers, huge ones. A frog came in your room. Well, at least they don't really do that much harm to you. You really just have to capture it and get it back outside or kill it. Mm. Yeah, we had carpenter. I remember seeing the carpenter bees when I was growing up. The only thing I didn't like about them when they would be too close to the house, They hover, and I hate that. I did not like that. Mhm. Yeah, those grasshoppers get big. Man, them suckers get big. Mhm. Boy, them praying mantis, though, you ever watch them capture a bug and eat it? Woo, they're brutal. They're brutal. I watched one, it got a bug, and that sucker was eating the bug. It was just tearing that bug up. Mhm. I remember one day I went to my back door and it was, I don't know if this was a moth or a butterfly, but it was all black and it was fluttering all around my door. And I didn't go out the door. And I was like, okay, why is this thing fluttering here? It fluttered probably for maybe a good 2, 3 minutes and then it just flew off and left. I think it was a butterfly, though. It didn't look like it. The body of it did not look like that of a moth. It looked like a butterfly, but I never seen one all black like that. Mhm. Oh, yeah. I remember we got even like behind my house, there's a creek. And if you go back there, do y'all remember the walking sticks? There's a bunch of walking sticks around the creek. You just see them all walking around. I don't know if any of you ever seen those before, but in the creek behind me, there's fish in there, and there's a bunch of walking sticks walking around. That was crazy when I first saw them in my whole life. I never seen one growing up in Philly. It wasn't until we moved to New Jersey, and when you go around like certain bodies of water, you'll see the walking sticks just walking around, and sometimes you'll see a bunch of them just walking around. That is, and they walk upright. It just looks weird. You haven't seen a walking stick? Yeah, they still got them back there. I just don't go back there as often as I did when I was a kid. Wow, they're a foot long in Australia? Are you kidding me? They're that big? Wow, I don't think the ones I see are probably maybe like an inch or 2 inches. You know, you see some small ones, but I think the small ones are the ones that were just born. And then you'll see some that are slightly bigger, but I don't think I've seen one that, wow, a foot tall? A walking stick? Wow, I don't think I've ever seen that before. They're in Australia, good. Hopefully, they'll stay there. I don't wanna see nothing that big walking around like that. Wow. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and cut on out of here. I'm glad we got through this live stream, and, be on the lookout for the ones I have tomorrow. All of this stuff was planned in advance, and you should see also our Bible study, which will begin at 3:45 tomorrow. All right. So I will see y'all tomorrow at, I believe my first one's at 11:45. So I will see you then. Shalom, family. Shabbat shalom, family. Shabbat shalom.